Merry Meet. My name is Audra, and you are in for a treat. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I want to quickly introduce our. I shouldn't have to, but we're going to. Bo. I'm going to introduce.
That is Bo. If you didn't know, we have a beautiful pupper in the house.
He found another squeaker, and I can't get it from him because. So sorry. Any who's it? This is Emily, who is with me as always. I'm going to see if I can get it from him in a little bit. But anyhow, first, quick housekeeping. Want to say thank you to all of the mods. Appreciate all of you tirelessly working to get all these things handled and keeping the chat fun and friendly. A thank you to all of you who are here in the live stream, as well as those of you who ended up rewatching this. Appreciate you. Thank you for doing so. I know it's not super easy. Y finalmente, I almost forgot. Thank you to the patrons and the channel members, without which I would not be able to keep the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs and the bats in the belfry. All right. So let me see if I can steal this from him right quick. And Emily, let him know what we're here for today.
Oh, I have much laughter because it's also a new setup for Audra, which means change, which means for Bo, that is not an easy thing to work with. We are here for another allegedly so I heard edition. We've only done this once before, but we're just here to talk about things going on in the world that are factual or maybe a little gossipy. Who knows? We will see. And Audra was actually the one that had a couple of topics, which we saw in the title, about Arctic Fox, Britney Spears, and at this point, who knows what else we will stumble across. As said, we have a dog. Audra has a beautiful pit bull named Bo. So that is what you're hearing in the background. Bo is playing with toys. And we're just going to embrace it. It's Friday night. We're here. We're hanging out. It's a different night for us. But, who knows if this might be the new normal? We don't know.
Yeah, I definitely got to let y'all know. I'm so sorry. He is having the time of his life. I can't stop him. He stole the ball fair and square. And now this is what we have going on. So, so the thing is, the nights may change a lot because I am gainfully employed, which also means my schedule does change. So I don't know exactly when we'll be able to do this. So we are, in fact, in front of a live Pitbull audience, and he's making himself known. He's making himself known. Thank you, Delilah. I was like, my eyeliner. Sorry, my eyes are so red. Until this humidity goes down, that's not going to be a thing. So first on the docket.
No one can see that.
I always feel like my eyes are so red and I can see it. I'm like, oh my God, I look like a monster. But first up on the docket, y'all hear about Kristen Leanne? For those of you who wanted to purchase Arctic Fox, which I loved Arctic Fox, it was my perfect red. Wrath was my red.
But Audra, what is Arctic Fox? I don't know, just in case people don't know.
It's hair dye.
It's like semi-permanent fashion colorful hair dye.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and instead it doesn't have chemicals and things like that. So and it was vegan and cruelty free and all of that wonderful shiz. So the great thing about it was that especially if you are a Black person who does chemically treat their hair, no judgment in this house. Thank you. You do with your hair as you will, and I will do with mine as I will. But it is very important to have dye that doesn't have chemicals in it so that you're not over processing your hair. And so when I found Arctic Fox, I was like, yes. And then, initially when I found Kristen Leanne, I was like, yes. And then I was like, oh no.
And there's been a lot that has come out and been shared. Arctic Fox is introduced to me. I have never used it, but it's this whole genre category. Hey, Pila, of I call it semi-permanent hair dye, but you can almost use it like a conditioner. So you can use it in your hair to refresh almost. Yeah. And so it's not permanent, meaning your hair doesn't you don't it's going to wash out. It's like light.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, putting a wash of dye on, whereas permanent hair dye like changes your hair. So it has to grow out. And it's been one of those brands and one of those products that's been on my radar for a while, because even though I have brown hair, I feel like I could probably play with some of the colors that they do. But right as I was like, maybe I will try Arctic Fox, like I started to learn more and more and more about Kristen Leanne, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm just gonna chill. And there are other brands out there, but like, I don't know. It's kind of like when you know they're like a favorite for a reason, and you're like, I kind of want to try the favorite.
Yeah, because I tried quite a few different ones, and it's just like nothing really stuck and like gave me the red that I like. There's a very particular red wash that I like to have over my hair, which I don't currently have now. It's just like, I guess this is whatever color my hair is, and I'm like, this is
same. This is hasn't been touched with dye, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I just loved that. And for those of you that don't know, allegedly, Kristen Leanne doesn't treat animals all that well. Allegedly, has a bit of a racist streak in her. Allegedly, well, this isn't alleged. This was actually visually seen. You know, making fun of people in the background of her photos.
Not allegedly, not exaggeratedly, is fatphobic as fuck, because that's what that is. When you mock a fat person that you see out in public, that is in fact fatphobic.
He was just walking on the same trail. I guess we didn't
have the audacity to heavy breathe.
He didn't get the memo that the trail was just for Kristen Leanne and her man to be walking and documenting it on IG. So, like, I'm sure if he got the memo, he would have not been back there.
I don't know if this was. We talked about public shame? Did we ever do that last year? Yes, and I think it was around that time, but I don't know if we ever specifically talked about that situation. But like, it was just. I was like, I already know enough about this person to not be paying attention to more information, but also got it. But here is my alleged concern or wonder. Is this a Doe Deer situation?
It is not. She has sold all of the stocks, allegedly.
But
all of her shares.
Like, this is my, like, I don't trust it. Like with KVD, where I'm like, I don't trust. Like, part of me is like, allegedly, I don't trust that, like, she's not making some kind of money from the sales.
I'm going to trust this because, like, listen, the brand has not been able to recover from all of the things that she's done. Every time they started to, like, get, like, a little spike back, because she just did something else. So what she did, so basically, Olivia, like, there was a picture
Tina!
that she had. Hey, Tina! There was a picture she had on her Instagram or something like that. I think it's since been deleted. But it was like her pointing to like say that Bo is the guy in the background, and they're like, when this guy's behind you, like heavy breathing while you're on, and like the man is shirtless. Like, the man did not sign up to be in this picture in any way, shape, or form, and she was just like making fun of him that like her and her new man were out for a walk on a trail, a public trail, and this man happened to be behind them breathing hard, which to me would be like, well, he's obviously out here trying to work out. Why wouldn't you be breathing hard?
Also, you can just exist as a fat person and breathe hard, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
say somebody that literally doesn't have to be breathing, doesn't have to be working out to have heavy breathing. Like, there is no shame in that.
Obviously, he's on the trail. So he's
obviously
like,
he's just a person living his life that doesn't deserve to be put on the internet without his consent.
Yeah.
Like,
so anybody who was like walking on this trail with you would, like, they're not on a stroll. Like, none of the people who were like, they weren't on a romantic stroll through this trail. It looked to be a place where people would like go work out. So it looks like she's out, and I can get my Arctic Fox again, because she put it on her Insta. She put it on her
Yeah.
Insta like, bye, Arctic Fox, like da 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 da. Unlike other ones where people are like just shoved out and they're like, bye, and they're just like, she
But
actually
this is,
announced this one.
but this, but Toe Deer did the same.
Yeah, I don't
Announced
know.
it.
Yeah, but she didn't say that she'd sold all of her portion of it either.
I'm just going to say I'm going to probably give it a little. For me, I'm not judging anybody that's buying from it.
Yeah.
This is me being exaggerated Emily, being allegedly Emily, like being like I'm the shit stirrer that's like, I don't trust you, bitch.
I know, Mandy. Look, we're all look at all of us out here like we had to boycott.
Yeah,
because I
so
feel
you don't
like
have to. And I hope, and like I think it's actually 100% true. I'm literally just being a shit stirrer right now. So I'm gonna say that. I'm literally just here to be like, but are you sure?
But next up on the docket,
Yeah.
did y'all hear? Britney Spears might be free soon. Her own father, Jamie, asked to be released from the conservatorship, asked to end the conservatorship.
Okay,
Greedy Scrooge McBag-Ducks. Those were a lot of things. Yes, McBag-Ducks.
McBag-Ducks. That caught me so like
Scrooge McBag-Ducks.
And I'm like,
you're like, wait, what's Scrooge McBag-Ducks?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too, because like here's the thing. I feel like when anybody who isn't traditionally thin is working out, I feel like there's just this level where it feels like they feel like, and I can see it in people walking, which is why I don't say anything at all. Like I'll just be like, hi, and like wave if I'm like passing by or whatever. But I can see it in their posture that they're like nervous about being like on the walking trail. I'm like, baby, do you stop it? But yeah,
I will say, and again, this is me being a sensitive fat person that's been fat all my life. Just don't talk to us at all. Like, don't send us hate. But also, for some of us, me included, and people that have been in my life, there's also the attention that comes from people being like, yeah, look at you being healthy. Like, this is not me hating on anybody that actually also does that. Like, Alana, I totally think like people in this chat, I know you mean well, but also just like let us exist by ourselves. Like, you know.
What is with these beauty CEOs? Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the problem. And I've said this multiple times. I will say this all the time. If I own a brand, the only way that you would know that I own the brand is that I would literally never review it. That's all you would know. Like, that's how you would know it was my brand. Like, if there was a beauty brand out there, and I would just, and you'd be like, Audra, are you gonna, review?
I'm stealing that. That's my answer now too. Also, y'all should join T's Patreon because tonight is movie night, and
that's why we're early.
That's why we're early, because we have a double feature with with some amazing people. I won't say all of the amazing people because there's amazing people everywhere, but hey, T.
That's why. Yeah, that's actually why we're early, because we want to make it to the movie night, and I'm not missing this one because JCVD.
You were one of the ones, like one of the movies you mentioned is going to be movie tonight. But I think that Arctic Fox is an interesting example. If like all is true, and that they actually did it, and they're not like just being like yeah, they're not as active. Like they actually did the thing. It actually worked. People not spending, and those kind of boycotts don't work all the time, but it's been interesting to see like, oh, could it actually but also Jamie Spears,
so
like
still needs to be
Britney on Instagram has been just giving me life,
giving joy. She's out here just enjoying herself, being like, look at my T-tops, but don't look at them, but look at my body.
Also like kiss my ass, like showing her like.
And she's like, Jamie. Like her sister, she's like, Jamie, don't try to play me now, girl.
That was just so good. But no, we didn't do anything. That was
I was like,
spicy beer being too spicy. I was like, I like it. Oh, I don't like it. But I wonder what actually inspired it. Like, what pushed him to finally say he didn't want to be in the conservatorship or didn't want to hold the conservatorship.
I think. So here's my thing. I actually think that he is afraid of what's going to happen when the law gets a real hold of it. I actually do believe that he is afraid of, allegedly, I think that he is afraid of what is going to happen if they like really dig into it. If they start digging into it, because the conservatorship money was never intended for family and friends. It wasn't a family and friends discount, baby. It was supposed to be her money for her children, her care. And once you start digging into it, listen, you're going to start seeing therapists that will get way too much money. You're going to start seeing lawyers who will get way too much money.
Like,
you're going to start seeing money that it just doesn't make sense.
Entire money laundering setup. Okay, we see. Because like that's what it feels like, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna pay you $100K. You really should only get to $50K, but you're gonna keep $75K and then give me back $25K in the fee. Like, I don't know, some alleged situations. Like, I forgot about, or I've been following it, but not like, but also holding on to details is hard. So like the audit part is the financial like dig in.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so he's like, you know what? If I just give this up, then the whole thing will be over and done with. Because once that audit takes place, it's not gonna be pretty. Her good for nothing brother, her good for nothing. I ain't got no damn career except for riding my sister's coattails. I've never been interested in Jamie's sister Spears. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Like, because like, who honestly watched anything with Jamie Spears in it? Honestly,
no.
Purposefully. Not just walked into a room and it happened to be, I'm saying purposefully was like, ooh, a show with Jamie Spears. Ooh, Jamie Spears singing. Let me click that. And not just to be like, how bad is it? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like,
no, you're right. And I think it's really interesting because I know like when we talked about Free Britney last, like we talked about how conservatorships are just terribly, terribly hard to actually end. And so like part of my thought is like, okay, I could see being Britney and being like, no, this is not ending until we figure out what happened to my money and we get it back. And then the other part would be like, but also I want to get out of this. And if I don't let this go, if I don't let him get away with this, will I ever be free? And that's so fucked up, allegedly, because it's like I feel like my take is that you're putting Britney in a position to choose between basically losing her fortune that she is deserved versus gaining her freedom.
Yes. Because he wants to eat up all the money he can, move it all around, get everything he can get out of it before he like closes it all out.
Yeah.
And it's like, will she be free? Or like, no.
Yeah.
Like, give her money back. Like, I'm really excited for her, but also I'm worried. But did y'all see, allegedly, her man's was looking for engagement rings.
So cute. But yeah, like this is what makes me so angry is that like I feel like in the end she has to choose between theoretical freedom, which hopefully will be actual freedom, versus like her well-deserved and earned like money.
Yeah. Like, I'm worried she's gonna have to lose her entire fucking fortune after her dad's done cooking in the books and eating up all the rest of her money. And like,
yeah.
Oh, Shadowless, you know they ain't gonna let. Nah. See, this is the thing that I hate about child stars, because I always question, like, should we even allow people to be child stars? Because no matter how you try to move it around, somebody ends up taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter. Like, you can try to do so many different things. You can hire this outside person who's supposed to look after their well-being, but like, money talks, and it's terrible. Like, money talks.
And this might be an extreme take, but like, especially because we talk about this like just in our own conversations off the internet, but like, I do feel like there should be no child stars.
Yeah.
I think that children shouldn't be allowed to be used in YouTube channels as like family channels. I think that
I definitely don't think
music and acting, I think that there needs to be a specific age limit, and we can just like fake it for younger roles in Hollywood, because so many examples that we know of, which means to me that there's a lot more examples that we don't even know about. So many examples that we know of. We see child like labor exploitation. We see them completely fucking lose themselves as they get older and fall into drugs or alcohol or whatever because of all of like being in that scene at such a young age. There's a lot.
I know. Like, I worry about this. Like, because I fully agree that children should not be stars. Like, especially now, like, you can just make them creepy ass CGI babies now. Just
Exactly.
make them creepy CGI babies, and like, let kids be kids. Because I feel like there's no way for them to win. Like, family channels, there's been several people who have talked about the dangers and ugliness of family channels. Because like, I think about like just regular shit growing up, right? Like, starting your period, dating your first person, having your first crush, and having all of that like documented without really your consent.
Not documented, but documented and released to the world. Because I think we used to document in a lot of ways. There's VHS tapes, home movies, photos, all of that, like scrapbooks, but like, you're sharing it to the world, and children cannot give consent. The trust, I feel like, are oftentimes just like, but I also, it's not even with Britney, yes, that is the money, but in general, to me, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about the harm that you're putting on this child from a young age that they have to work through and deal with. And so it's like, you might be a billionaire, but you also still might be completely broken.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's a level to which we're not giving these kids any real life. And like, there's so many loopholes on putting that money in a trust. There's because essentially you put the money in the trust except for expenses that they need. And this is the problem, is it's like, did they ask for a private jet, or did you? You know what I mean? Like, these are the kinds of things.
Did they ask for like only the like Nobu sushi in the backstage room, or did you?
Yeah.
Did they ask for that $50,000 bag, or did you? Like, exactly.
Ooh. Next up on the docket, Nikki Tutorials is releasing a brand. Is it allegedly too late?
Is it allegedly boring? Because it's skincare. It's not makeup, it's skincare. She also released an ad for it. I don't know if it's like, it was on Instagram, and it gives me very sentimental, dramatic, generic commercial, allegedly trying to connect skincare to friendships and how you treat yourself, and very let's manipulate your feelings about yourself to buy this skincare.
Oh, Shirley Temple was not treated that well.
Yeah.
She was not.
I was going to say that this comment was earlier.
Her. Yeah, they really pushed her to like continue to be a little girl, even though she was growing up. I think was it Escape from Something Mountain. I feel like was like one of the last movies that she made as a child, because they like kept doing her hair and curly things and making her try to be real cute. And she was like, I'm 16 years old. I am not 3. But she was able to like learn how to negotiate her contracts better, which is another reason why she got kind of shoved out of the business. But
yeah, like Nikki was a delight on Eurovision.
I did not see that.
It's fun. It's good.
But you know what? I think that that's not really my thing.
I've group watched it, kind of like movie night. That's what it's
like. Okay.
Like not just by myself, but like yeah. But I mean, it is. It's like it looks like there's a spray and a serum and a cream. It's called Naima. No, not. It's something with an NY, M, and an A.
Yeah, I think. Because it's almost when I saw it, I instantly thought of Nima Tang, and I was like, "Why would you name your brand after Nima?" So that was
and maybe it has some other meaning that I don't know about, but like, I don't think of Nikki as a skincare creator, a skincare influencer, and so it feels very cash grab because it's like, oh, well, people rebuy skincare way more than they do makeup, and that's why skincare is the new perfumes for celebrities, because people are going to go through a lotion way quicker than they go through a highlighter. So like you're repurchasing a $30 or $40 setting or dewy spray or whatever it is way more often than you might repurchase even a foundation. So like it just feels very disingenuous.
It really does. Like here's the thing. Like I'm always going to say, everybody make your money, get your bag. I'm not here to stop you from any of those things. Whatever you need to do to make your money, as long as it is legal and consenting, do you. But everything else, for me, it's just like, I just feel like sometimes, why can't y'all have things and not tell everybody you have things? Like have a thing, sell the thing, and just like not be like, oh, it's me.
Because that's how it sells. Because it's Nikki Tutorial Skincare, or because it's Jennifer Lopez's skincare, or Jennifer Aniston's hair care. Like the reason why it sells from influencers to celebrities is because it's that person's thing. It's not because it's a thing.
Oh, wait, it's coming out. So if I use Jennifer Lopez's skincare, will I finally get a black man? Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, listen, I couldn't hold it in.
Remember, y'all. This is I have to take comment.
Allegedly,
Audra, and exaggeratedly Emily tonight. So if you have feelings,
there we go. Will my butt get bigger? Because that would be nice. Actually, it's already getting pretty fit. PHAT. I'm so excited. Look at it. It's getting out there. I'm like, ooh. Had to go up a size in underwear. I already had to go up another size. So I'm like, my booty is too big. So I'm very excited.
But like, just that's the thing with the Nikki thing. It's like, look, I would have been way, way more influenced to buy her makeup, even though I don't watch her anymore. But like, I mean, I didn't buy the Beauty Bay palette because I didn't trust Beauty Bay at the time. I still am glad I didn't, because I heard iffy things about the mattes. But anyway, but like a makeup line from Nikki, I would have looked at. But when I heard it was skincare, I was just like,
I'm good.
Also, I don't feel like Halsey's line was on the DL, but that's my perspective of being within the community. I knew that About Face is Halsey's line. Oh, I have a thing that's related.
Rocket, go ahead.
Okay, so if you saw, I didn't talk about it in New Makeup Nonsense, but you or Teresa probably did from my memory. Ariana Grande is coming out with a makeup line called REM, whatever. But
if you believe.
I know, I wish. Oh yeah, you can talk about it because you talk about REM
on the moon.
But like the thing that I saw this afternoon, her beauty line is with Forma Brands. If you don't know Forma, they are the owners of Jaclyn Cosmetics and Morphe.
Oh.
So like I first of all had
That's
to
some tea. Let me just
because
take a
thank you
sip.
here for the tea on Instagram, by the way, and other beauty friends that shared it in a different Discord I'm in, where I was like, what? Okay, like I don't think of Ariana for makeup either, but like now that I know it's Forma, yeah, no, I agree. The thing is with celebrities, whether it's their hair, their skin, their makeup, their body, they have access and are using procedures that I am not and might never be able to.
I will
So
never.
yeah, like so I'm never going to be inspired to buy from a celebrity line because of what that celebrity looks like. Like
Period.
Fenty was different because I was actually looking at how things performed, how things reviewed. I wasn't buying just because it's Rihanna. I
Period.
personally wasn't.
Yeah,
But like, yeah. So like same with J Lo or with any of these people. Like I'm not buying it because I'm thinking I'm gonna get their skin.
Oh no, nobody. Very few people
No
could
one's
self-fund.
self-funding.
No one
Yeah.
could.
There's also
It's
no reason to.
very, very expensive. Like I
There is
don't.
no reason to
Yeah.
self-fund when you could just buy formulas from labs. And if you have enough money, you get enough control where it doesn't look like it's private label. It is in a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead though about self-funding.
Yeah, I mean it is ruinously expensive for you to if you decided that you by yourself were going to do that. Almost no one does that. Almost everybody gets investors and partners like Tati did. It's very expensive to do this on your own because you have to go out, source all of the research that's involved and just like getting your brand started, like making sure that the brand name hasn't been used. So you have legal fees there just to try to make sure nobody's using your brand name. And if you're dead set on that brand name, figuring out how you can use that brand name and like buy it back from this person because that person's brand is so small.
Even if your team is doing that, there is also the formulation of the actual product. So like let's say you want to start a line and you're like, I have my vision, I'm going to get my graphic designer, I'm going to design my packaging, I'm going to design the color stories, but I need people to make the packaging. I need people to make the formulas, or I need to be able to tweak formulas that exist. Like Tati Beauty is under Seed, which owns ColourPop and all of ColourPop's brands. So like Tati might have allegedly gotten the graphic design done, gotten all of the legal stuff done, but still went to this lab to get the packaging figured out and to get the actual eyeshadows, like colors and formulas figured out. So like for somebody like Ariana or even Halsey, I bet About Face has some parent company. I'm sure House Labs does, although they were done through Amazon. So it's also, so like, it actually doesn't make sense to self-fund, but somebody like Samantha Ravindal, it's still under there's like, it's a brand called Magic Dusk.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Dusk. When you like buy something from Art Glow, it's under like, there's a bigger thing called Magic Dusk, I think. So like, but even if she did self-fund,
the name of my brand. It's just gonna go German last name skincare.
But also, even if she did self-fund, you see how slow the releases have been.
Yeah.
One product in a very specific range of shades with not that many restocks, it seems. So like, that's the problem with self-funding too, is that it's putting you at a much slower pace. It's not a product. Oh no, it wasn't one product. I'm sorry. It was two products.
Yeah.
But
the eyeshadows and
the glow and then the eye duos. Yes. Sweaty cosmetics. Sweaty cosmetics.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to doing stuff like there's no benefit to self-funding for a lot of folks. Like because here's the thing, if it's doing really well, you can buy all the stock in it and become, if you're not already a 50% owner, you can buy stock in it, become a 75% owner. You can buy and become 80% owner. Like you can buy the stock back in your company and be like, okay, now it's all mine. Right. But
it's not that no one can, is that it doesn't make business sense.
It does not. It's a lot of money to it. So like, for instance, when we talk about indie brands, Allegedly. A lot of them use private label. Now, I say allegedly because not all of them admit to their private label usage. But a lot of them will use private label, which is one of the reasons why you might see that like palettes might be very similar and things like that. Components might be similar. But the thing about that makes it really awesome and is helpful is that it allows them to try different formulas, try different types of packaging, kind of feel out what it is that they want, because you don't really know if you have never owned your own beauty brand before and you wanted to do that, you don't really know exactly what it is that you want your brand to represent. So before you go out and start formulating stuff, which is going to be costly, it's going to be a lot of money for you to like have technicians and lab people. Even if you do it yourself, it's still going to be a lot of money of you mixing potions and trying to figure out exactly what you want it to be. Whereas you get private label, you start playing with this, you start playing with that, and you're like, okay, all right, and then you kind of get in your head like what you want your formula to be like. And at that point, you can kind of take that and bring it over to somebody else, and spending all of that money doing it by yourself doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to like use all the resources available to you as opposed to just like running off and trying to do it on your own. Like if there's resources, use them. And I feel like a lot of indie brands are intelligent enough to go forth and do that. I wouldn't, even if I had the money to do so,
I would never do it.
I would never self-fund because I don't have anything to fall back on. If it all goes wrong, like it's my brand, I go bankrupt, it's all me. But if I get investors and backers and all of this stuff, I have other people who are just as invested as I am in making this successful. Like nobody wants it to fail. So the money put into it, a lot of times it's going to be smart money. It's going to be money, let's make sure we advertise this properly. Let's make sure the packaging looks badass. They're more than likely going to have people who they test the packaging on, who sign NDAs and all this stuff. What do you think about this? So you have all of these resources that you probably wouldn't have on your own.
And even if you don't have that level of testing, so like I've never worked in the cosmetic industry. But I've worked in the clothing industry, in the apparel industry, and I worked for a company that very specifically private labeled. We private labeled for a lot of department store brands, like a lot of in-house department store brands or Kohl's or things like that. But like the little like brands that are within Kohl's under different names, which are just Kohl's own brands, things like that. And yes, this was like a decade ago, but like, so I think about as an indie brand, if you're starting one, I think that a big important thing is to look at your identity, your inspirations, your color stories, the things that excite you. And formula is important, but also, Satine, you are so sweet, by the way. Thank you. But like, I think if I was starting a brand, I would rather go to like look into private label, see what's out there in terms of formulas, in terms of textures, in terms of colors, in terms of what your level of customization is. And once I have a sense of that, then I can be like, okay, I feel like I'm using this specifically because they, to me, have a strong brand identity. Mira Beauty. Mira is inspired by their owners. They have 3 owners with 3 different like ethnic backgrounds. And so their first release was like a palette for each owner basically. And then they've done a couple of other releases. But like being able to say, we want to do a release about Holi, the Indian holiday, and then figuring out what inspires them to do it, or what colors are inspirational, or what kind of product they want to release, seeing what's already on the market or seeing what's available from private label people, and seeing how you can connect the two things, an inspiration and a thing that your brand needs and you want to release, and what's available. And so like, I think being able to take more energy to look at your identity, your branding, your color stories, what you're looking to release, and worrying less about, oh, I need to formulate this shadow. I need to figure out how to make it shelf stable. I need to track down packaging. And like, I would rather focus in on the branding. And this is even from somebody who would theoretically look at having like a singles based eyeshadow brand. But like, I would never want to be somebody that's like hand mixing product in my space. First of all, you have to do it well for it to be safe. You really do. And I don't want to be known as like that brand with singles that like, there are brands where their singles went moldy, where they went like bad, and that reputation travels. So anyway, that's kind of my take on like why I would go with private label, because I don't know the scope of what's possible, but I feel like there is some level of customization possible. And as you get more popular and you can buy more units, that's when you can say, hey, I know you've offered me this. Could I do this 9-pan, but I really want to do these 3 things instead, but I'm going to be able to buy this many units. Can we make that work? And like actually be able to kind of work with that. Like, I feel like you can see that when brands are like private label, kind of straight from the catalog versus private label customized.
You can. And a lot of it has to even do with like how the packaging is. You're like,
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
So what's the other thing? I had one more. Oh yeah. Wait, that's not allegedly. Please don't. Oh, here we go. That's what it was. Allegedly, one size's little setting spray photos are photoshopped, babes. It looks weird.
How is that alleged? All of their product releases have looked photoshopped to the high heavens.
It's so
exaggeratedly,
weird.
Emily. I have to go look at this because I
like it's because like somebody had once even commented. I think they said something to the effect of like, "How did it change her hairline?" Like, I was done. How dare you? How dare you ruin my life like that? They were like, and so basically, so here's the thing. I get that people like one size or whatever, but like, I don't understand this brand at all. Like,
I don't.
I literally don't get it. Like, I just look at it and I'm like, what is it? What am I? How do I, like, I just don't, I don't understand the brand. I don't get like anything. Like at this day and age, like I understand why makeup wipes come out. Okay. I actually do understand it because like, first of all, if you haven't seen one reality show, I know that it's going to sound ridiculous to you, but like they use a lot of makeup wipes on those shows. And it makes sense.
No. I still see like the younger creators on like the younger makeup creators on like TikTok and around using face wipes a lot, and it makes my skin scream. But like, I actually did not hate that release, in my opinion, the spray and the wipes. Like, I wasn't gonna buy them. They felt like a gimmicky? Silly thing to launch on.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel like a strong move to launch with those products. But like, also everything else they've done, I'm just like, I'm glad that I can just forget you even exist.
Yeah, it's just really like,
I'm trying to look at.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so if you go look at the photo, like, it is very clear.
What they did to her face is criminal. Her eyes look like they're in different like just subtly, but like,
because the thing is, I feel like it's a setting spray. So why wouldn't you show the before picture of her wearing makeup without the spray, and then the after picture of her with the spray? Like, that's the thing. Because then I'm just like, oh, so like the setting spray is a full face makeup, great. And it's like we get it, we like know that, but like it does it, like it's dumb. Like it's like,
if you had shown like a slightly dewy, oily-ish face with foundation and then the sprayed and mattified, that would have made so much more sense.
thank you.
Or the dry face where the foundation is on, but like it looks a little bit cakey, and then the spray and it looks more like natural satin.
Yeah.
Like, because there are two. Yeah, I didn't love the spray cleanser thing, but like
it wasn't my cup of tea. Because here's the thing, like I'm typically washing my face at night, like, and like I'm taking off my makeup at night. I feel like a lot of us are taking our makeup off at night. This is a relaxing time. I don't want to spritz my face. Like I don't want to be like I'm trying to chill. like that's one of the reasons why I absolutely, adore my cleansing balms, because I'm just like massage my face, being like,
yes.
I don't want to like end my day by like assaulting my face with a spritz. Like that's not a good time for me.
The funniest thing about this is that his brand launched in 2019, 2020. I'm like, you are supposedly this like influential person that knows their shit. Your brand feels like it's a solid 5 years behind.
Listen, not today. It's all bad. Like I don't understand it. I'm like, what's happening? I feel like there's influencers who like have planned to have a brand, but they were gonna release it in 2016 and it just didn't happen. And now
okay, but that's actually real. I think that there are a lot of influencers and a lot of people that get their brains stuck in one way, whether it's one makeup style, one thing, and they don't actually evolve. And to me, that's like one of the most exciting parts of especially the beauty space. Yeah. And like as somebody that has played with makeup for years now, my evolution and playing and learning different things and trying different things and my taste change. And that's actually an exciting thing about if I was ever going to own a brand, is kind of like seeing the evolution of the brand. I would want to like know that it's going to change and evolve.
Yeah. I mean, like, because like here's the thing, like I know people have their feelings on face wipes and them being like and not environmentally friendly, but we also have to remind ourselves that there's like a lot of people who for one reason or another that's the only time that they actually get to clean their face. There are people who have depression, there are people who are disabled, there's like a lot of different reasons why people would use them. And again, like for things like reality television shows and whatnot, they often have those in there because like you have a lot of people in one house trying to get to the sink becomes not feasible. So
or just it's just like not feasible. Like it can literally just be a self-care thing where you're like, I need to lay in bed and be able to take off my makeup. And also you actually don't need to excuse what you use. Like whatever. If you use makeup wipes, that's I think my building. Sorry, I don't know, weird noises. Like
I thought it was Bo rubbing up against the bed because he's being weird behind me.
Oh, it could be both. Like I like if you don't want to use wipes and you think that they are bad and you don't like I get that. I get that. I agree, but I also think that you also don't owe anyone explanation for your like ecological choices.
Yeah, Atlanta, that's true. Wipes are also in hospitals and things like that. Like they are necessary there because like a lot of these they're not gonna wash washcloths and things like that.
It's also not necessarily sanitary to be able to do that. So, and like again, reusable wipes and like cloths, like the makeup erasers and the knockoffs, like I love using those, but I also have to wash them. And there are times when I don't have the ability, energy, whatever, thanks to depression or other things, to do that. So like I don't use wipes, but I know that they're like a necessary evil in the world. It's I guess how I think about it. I don't encourage it, but I also know that they exist.
And the final T, finalmente. So many influencers have either announced their pregnancies or they've just had babies, and allegedly it's only a matter of time before the community turns on them for talking about their falling baby. All right. Like, oh my God, so-and-so's pregnant. Oh my God, you had the baby? Shut up.
Well, this is why, like, I will admit, I don't get excited about pregnancies. So I'm not going to turn. I'm already gone. I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be a family channel now. Bye. Like, goes back to the children on the internet thing from earlier.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like the reason I wanted to talk about this is like,
Yes.
allegedly it's only a moment. I feel like it's so interesting watching how excited people get about their favorite influencers having babies or getting pregnant until the baby comes out. And then they're just like they want to see the newborn picture where they're all like little aliens. And then any mention after, I got my political fingers, any mention afterwards, it's a problem. Suddenly we're like, oh my God, stop talking about your baby. We hate you so much.
Here's what I'm going to say, though. Here's what I'm going to say. Misogyny and patriarchy fucks women up or people that have babies up, because what happens is that you being a parent is supposed to be your whole identity. Mm-hmm. It messes with you, because what happens is that you have the kids, and then the world frames it. My opinion, allegedly, is that the world around you and the bigger world frames your parenting, you having a child, as the only thing that's important about you. Mm-hmm. And so you end up kind of turning into that person unless you really work against it, unless you have a partner that believes in you having a full identity outside of being a parent, mm-hmm. that you have friends that you're staying in contact with, that you have family that supports that. Because then what happens is that as that happens, that's what your channel turns into. And then people get upset because they're like, what happened to the other reasons I was watching you? But mm-hmm. no one in their life is supporting, no, you can have a child and also be a beauty creator and also be a partner and also have friends and also do other hobbies. But so it's like the world does this to parents, to women and femmes, I'm going to say in particular, mm-hmm. and then it turns on them. It sets it up. So it's the whole thing of you build them up to tear them down. Yeah. Thing that we see happening with a lot of
build me up. Sorry.
And I can get excited about people having babies. But it's mostly my friends. Not really. But I don't have hate, but I also just don't care.
The last time somebody said something about their pregnancy to me in person, and they were like, I'm pregnant, and my response was on purpose. I am not.
Well, and it's true, because most of my close friends. But that's the kind of answer that I would have, because most of my friends, I'm like, are you? But
yes, crotch problems, the whole thing freaks me out. I know if you want to have children, good for, but the whole thing completely freaks me out. It is disgusting. Yeah. I know that doesn't make me nice, whatever. But the amount of times I've had to feel the alien grow inside somebody's body, and they're like, oh, touch my, I really don't want to. And then it moves and I'm like, oh. It doesn't, I don't feel good. I'm not this is amazing. I'm never oh, the amazing life that's going, I'm like, you have an alien. It doesn't, I've never connected that way where I thought that was a thing that I want to do, and I don't like it. People are like, you should hold the baby. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I don't want to. And people need to really respect when people say that they don't want to hold your baby. Just stop. I beg of you, please stop trying to force the baby into people's, because I'm going to drop it.
But this is what I'm saying. I can have happiness for somebody for getting pregnant if they wanted to get pregnant, but I also don't really want to be in the middle of all of that. And Amy, that's what I was kind of talking about, is the society sets it up so that once you are a mother or a parent, that is all you are. And so you end up in this cycle of okay, that's all I am. And then people hate it for you. Also, I'm going to say, as creators, lifestyle, family blogging, mommy blogging, I bet makes a lot more money than beauty blogging.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's also a pressure there to and once you start doing it, and once you start linking to stuff and talking about stuff, and then you see the amount of money that you're making, then you're like, well, maybe I'll do the mom stuff a little more. Maybe I'll talk about the mom stuff a little more. And then that also turns into, you've changed. You're da. So that's my take on the whole cycle.
And this also goes back into what we were talking about makeup. Like
Yeah.
why when you become a mom, everything about you is supposed to just dissipate, especially with women and femmes.
Exactly.
Everything about you, you like your sexiness is supposed to be gone, which is why they started creating, like in the early aughts, the MILF thing, 99.
Yeah.
The MILF thing came out of like women can be sexy at a certain age, but there is a very specific type of sexiness. It's why you have like this whole like the Real Housewives movement, all of this kind of stuff that's
Yes.
trying to show that like women are still attractive past a certain age. And it's like we shouldn't have to be having this conversation over and over and over again, because it's more and more not just that you got older, it's also that you became a mom. So you even see this if you are 24 and you have your first child, it's like everything about you is supposed to diminish because you had a baby.
Yep.
Like you are not allowed to be sexy. You are not allowed to have a good time. You shouldn't care about makeup. All you should care about, you should be laser focused on your little baby. And like that should be it. But yeah, I mean, I feel I get worried watching creators like announce their pregnancies, because I do get concerned about, like we've all seen how they've treated RBK. It's been pretty rough. And I know that there's like things that she could do or not do. That's neither here nor there. The point is the way that people viciously and angrily attack her for saying literally anything about her child is gross. Like the woman had a baby that everybody was so excited about. She had been trying for years and had just given up any hope of like actually being able to have a baby. Finally has one. And then the just tides turned the instant she came out to be like, I'm having such a hard time. This is so difficult. And we were like, oh my God, stop talking about your stupid baby. And it's like, whoa, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm going to be the bitch that's like, yeah, I think there were things that she was sharing on the internet about her child that was dangerous or toxic. Maybe not dangerous, but toxic. Like, but I can judge where I'm like, yeah, that was a bad decision or a bad dozen decisions. And also think people should chill out on how they judge, in particular, women and femmes in terms of like all of that. Because like I looked at, like I wasn't following her at that point in time. Way before that, I had stepped away. But like I would hear about things that she was sharing, and I was like, you need
girl, why?
You need friends to talk to in private about that. That's not like, so that's where I was like, I get it. I get people feeling like, oh, no, I can't follow this person anymore. But like, at the same time, Shadowless is probably right about the realistic part.
Yes.
It wasn't the realistic. It was the like, I don't know. There was some things where I was like, the whole internet doesn't need to know that, is how I felt about it.
Yeah, because like I didn't see almost any of this happen, because here's the thing. I have very specific words muted and blocked on my, like anything having to do with pregnancy, baby, any, like I have all that blocked because I don't care. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I don't care. But I do worry about that, like, and that's why I kind of ended on that like little bit of a joke, like all these people that are so excited about having their baby. It's only a matter of time before they get turned on. And I just get sad about that. I'm just like, yo, let people have their experiences. Like if you don't want to deal with it, like it's fine. Just don't watch it. But like, there's a level where I'm just like, just stop attacking people. Just like, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. It's super simple.
That's why I unfollowed on all platforms before that, but especially once. And it's the discernment. Like I think both what Kim and G are saying is on point. It's like, it is being difficult, but the long memory and the level of exposure you have makes that discernment needed. And also, I think that G makes a good point that becoming a mother, that seeing how RBK's mental health was affected, becoming a mother, it is helpful when you are somebody that is neurodivergent or has mental health things, like seeing what can happen, because a lot of times that's not shared on the internet. And I agree completely.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to attack, but you can be like, that is too much information and I don't feel good about consuming your content anymore, so I'm gonna unfollow. Like that's my take on it, where I'm like, just be like, yeah, that was uncomfortable, unfollow and move along.
Yeah, there's people I follow, but I just have them muted because like the stuff that they talk about isn't interesting to me anymore. So I'm like, I'm gonna, and I know a lot of people would just be like, why don't you unfollow? I'm like, because sometimes they do say something that's interesting. So,
but how do you see it? Because they're muted. That's my actual question.
Other people, no, because other people will talk about it, and then I'll go like look at it.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
Like it'll show up on my timeline, so I'm like,
yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say, man, I was like, I don't care, but that is a fair technique. Anyway, yes, it is movie night.
It is movie night. We're gonna go see JCVD. If y'all are not subscribed to Nappy Headed Hobo with our friend T, or you are subscribed but aren't in her Patreon, y'all should join. We have all kinds of fun. Like she has fun movie nights. I have fun movie nights. I have some joint things that we do, Emily and I, and sometimes we're lucky enough to be able to hang out with Teresa as well. So if you have some allegedly tips, if you have some allegedly tips, hit us up at 5for5live@gmail.com. All right, y'all.
I would love to do this again sooner.
I would too. I like this. It's just like very fun, chill. Like, and next time my makeup will not have just been finger painted on 3 seconds before I should.
We look fabulous though. Anyway, so
we do.
Thank y'all for being here and for being allegedly, exaggeratedly amazing. Not allegedly amazing, but thank you for being here and for making the experience amazing. If you are watching on replay, Audra, do you want to give them an emoji to drop if they get this far?
Yes. If you are watching on the replay, drop me a pineapple because I love them. I don't know. So weird.
And we will see you next week. Not sure what day, but we'll see you.
It'll be a bat time and a bat channel, but just not the same. And as usual, it costs $0 to be kind. It's so good for your soul because if you don't take care of it, remember, I'm getting more powerful now. My power grows. Like Cheryl comes every day. She don't run when I bring her food. I now have a black grackle who comes to eat food. It's only a matter of time. I will be Black Maleficent. Till next time, XOXO. Gothic girl.